Hello friends, and welcome back to today's video. In today's video, I am unboxing a very long awaited pen. It was very hard to come across this pen, and before I get into this new pen, I want to talk about a pen that I already had and what has sparked this entire preference of mine now. So a quick little story. This is a platinum calico, or ishigaki, I believe is the Japanese name of this design. It is a celluloid pen in the platinum 3776 century model. And in the research of this video, I actually just discovered that, or just learned that 3776 is the altitude of Mount Fuji. All this time, I did not know what the significance of the number was. But when I was interested in this pen, I was really interested in the Tortoise colorway of the celluloid at first, but I had seen this pen floating around social media. Specifically, Amanda Lee Plans got this and she shared it on Instagram, and I thought, how beautiful is that pen? I started looking for it and had noticed that it was starting to dwindle in numbers available in stock at certain places. And so I thought, let me prioritize getting this colorway first over the Tortoise, because the Tortoise was readily available, multiple websites, resale websites. It was this specific colorway, the calico, that was a lot harder to find. So I was worried about not being able to find it later in the future. And so I prioritized searching for this. So I was still very new into fountain pens and really didn't know what I should be looking for when buying secondhand or on marketplaces like eBay. I was not on Reddit yet for pen swap, but I really didn't know what I should be looking for. All I knew about the platinum at the time was that I wanted this colorway. I wanted it in a fine nib or even extra fine at that point. And that platinum is known for having a heart cutout nib. So I find this pen. It is labeled as old new stock on eBay. It was a very good price for $200 plus shipping. And everywhere brand new on retail sites was at $375, around that area. And so I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. At this point, I only had a Sailor 14K Pro Gear Slim that I had purchased on Amazon. I had just purchased a Pilot Custom 823 off Pensacci, but I had not received it yet. And then here I was already ordering another pen off eBay. So I order the pen. It arrives to me. The packaging, it's not this one. It was in a plastic one and it was cracked. And I was so nervous. The pen was in great condition, but the packaging did get cracked. And I thought, what cheap packaging? Because I had already experienced unboxing a Sailor before. So I opened the pen and it's really, really hard to twist off. And I'm like very scared I'm going to break it. I look at the nib and there's no heart cutout. And I start looking at pictures and it is not what I was seeing in advertisements. I am now freaking out. I feel like I just got a fake pen or something. And now I just spent $200 plus shipping on a pen that must not be real. So I'm really embarrassed at this point and now telling my friend about it. And I have no idea how to talk about this on my Instagram, where I talked about everything. I brought up everything that I was purchasing. I just did not want to embarrass myself on the internet about not knowing about fountain pens and buying this pen. Well, I did some research and I found a Fountain Pen Network article talking about platinum nibs and an old logo. So turns out that I purchased an old design, 18 karat, and it is before they switched over and started doing the heart nib cutouts. They changed the entire design and the material of the gold. So I have an 18 karat gold nib with an old JIS, which stands for Japan Industry Standard, I believe. I wrote it down. I have notes here before. JIS is Japan Industry Standard, and the logo was discontinued and changed at some point in 2008. So I know that my pen, this pen, is before 2008 at least. And after realizing and learning, okay, I don't have a fake pen, I actually just have an old pen, I was happy with it, and it wrote beautifully. I was worried about why the section was so tight, and I learned that celluloid shrinks over time. So this pen, being old new stock, am I saying it right? Old stock new, must have sat for years, never being opened and unscrewed and used, and the barrel had shrunken, and it made unscrewing this part to get to the converter very, very tight. And it took me a few times of just being very gentle and opening it and closing it until the threads loosened to the shrinkage. And I have loved this pen ever since. It writes so smoothly, so nicely. If Platinum had just made more colorways, it would be my favorite pen over Sailor. Fast forward to the release of the Shape of Heart Chai Latte. I purchased that pen. It was a matte body, and I thought, I hate this pen. I have since sold it. I've sold it to someone here on YouTube, but I did not like the matte body. And then I wrote with it, and it was very stiff to me. It was a 14K gold nib, and I didn't know if I just couldn't get past the matte feel of the body or if it was the nib. I sold the pen. I met my friends in person at the San Francisco Pen Show, and I had them write with it, and they noticed right away, without me even saying anything, how much softer and bouncier this 18K nib is. And so I thought, okay, I'm not crazy. It really is not some crazy minor tweak in preference. It really is the difference in the nib. So I tried all the other nibs at the pen show, and it confirmed that it was just a really hard, stiff feeling for me. I'm used to Sailor's bounciness in their nibs. Even the 14K nib feels pretty soft to me, 21K even softer. And so this was, a realization to me that I probably won't ever own another Platinum, because I am so spoiled by the 18K on this pen. And I thought, okay, I will just enjoy the one design my entire collection, my entire life, and this is just going to be what I know Platinum to be. Well, I talked about it on Instagram stories. Someone brought up to me that with my stories, it got them curious to looking up 18K nibs, and they had seen one, but it was listed for $900. It's still up on eBay, so if you're interested in that, it is the Emerald Celluloid pen. Well, in that listing and looking at other recommendations, I saw this pen, and it was a Tortoise, and I thought, I just wish I could find it in 18K, and my nib preference would be medium. It would round out and go back full circle to me wanting the Tortoise pen, and to my surprise, it was an 18 karat nib and in a medium size. What was interesting is that nowhere in text did it say 18K. The only way to know it was 18K was by seeing it in the photos. in the description, it did say it was an old design. Tortoise, celluloid, everything, medium nib. It just didn't say 18K. So I think it just never got flagged by eBay when searching those words. And so I dropped my phone instantly, ran to my husband and said, I need this pen. You don't understand. I have been looking for another one of these pens for a year and a half now. And this is the only way I can grow my platinum collection. And so I made an offer and they accepted. This pen I purchased for $350, I believe. With shipping, it came around to $375. So a lot more than what I purchased this at. This was just priced so well at $200 plus shipping. And with shipping, I believe this was $375. So I'm willing to pay that price knowing what I'm getting now and what I'm getting into. So here is this beauty. I was really surprised at the box, given that my calico was in a very cheap plastic box and arrived broken. This seems to be the original box. It is old. It is brown and velvety, and I love that. And the paper inside also seems old and the original. There is no inscription on it in terms of these information where people would write maybe the date or anything like that. So there is no other specific information. I did look up and translate this and see maybe if it could tell me what the headquarters was for platinum at the time of this year, but it is actually still the same. So I don't know, what year this could have been, but this has been such an amazing find. I think this will be my pen find of the year, my pen purchase of the year. And so here is the medium nib. It has the same scrolling detail on the sides, still no heart cut out. It says 18K, and the nib size is in Japanese for medium. And my fine is also inscriptioned with or inscribed in Japanese for fine, because modern platinums now are with the Roman character, F for fine, M for medium. So just all in all, this is such a special pen. So let's go ahead and do a pen test here, and I'll get more into some of the history and what I've been able to learn about these old design. So what I've found with platinum pens in general, even with the tester ones that I was able to try at the pen show, that platinum runs on the finer side from Sailor, because that's the other pen that I have plenty of to be able to compare to. So my medium is kind of like a Sailor medium fine, and I think the fine is pretty much the same as a Sailor fine. So some more history about this pen is that I learned from other fountain pen network or forums, and I will link some of those forums and some photos in here. But it turns out that let's see here, the old GIS symbol was discontinued in 2008. A Japanese platinum catalog from 1999 has the 18K nibs in that catalog. So these pens could be from 1999 or sooner, but no sooner than 1987. The celluloid models first started in 1987. So 1987 to 1999, maybe a little bit past 1999, but no farther than 2008. Okay, let me say that again. These pens are made and from somewhere in between 1987 and 2008. So that to me is amazing. I'm a 90s baby, so either one of these or both or neither could have been made before I was born. I was born in 1992. So could have been a few years before I was born, very likely the 90s decade that I was born and raised as a child. So it is really crazy for me to have these pens that at one point will become vintage. I'm not going to call them vintage now. That would make me vintage, and I don't know what the criteria is for something to be called vintage, but I am so happy with this mini collection I have of platinum 18 karat nibs now, and both in the two favorite celluloid prints. I am just beside myself. Another thing that I learned is that at one point, platinum made the band here curved. So if you ever see a flat band, know that that is before 1987, I believe. That is when they had switched from flat bands to curved, somewhere around 1990, sometime around, or maybe could be before after 1987. 1987 is the date when celluloid models first came out. So there you have it. I have a brand new platinum in my collection, and I could not be happier. And if you are curious about the inks, they are let's see, I have in here in my calico, I have the Robert Oster Thunderstorm. My favorite ink that I like to have in here is actually Diamine Earl Grey. It's tied with Diamine Earl Grey or Sailor Hanagokoro, but I ran out of Sailor Hanagokoro. I just had Earl Grey in here, so I feel like I need to try something else. But they're all pretty much the same shade of dark blue gray. And then in my Tortoise, I have Van Diemen's Leatherwood Honey. This is an ink I have loved for a very long time. I just could never find the right pen to ink it with, and I think this is a beautiful mix of the light amber colors, some of the darker swirls, and then you get into the really, really dark brown, almost black. There are so many brown shades that I could ink this in, but I knew I have been wanting to use Leatherwood Honey, and so this was a great match. I prefer to ink my calico with a darker ink just because I have so many other brown pens, and I love when I can have different choices because it is multicolored. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me getting a little bit nerdy about some of the pen facts of this pen. But thank you so much for watching. I would love to know if you've ever had an experience with a pen that just made you so picky. This pen has definitely made me picky because I was able to experience and just honestly got so lucky with the 18 karat nib, because now I have a preference. Now I know my preference, and I am marked safe from every modern platinum pen. Maybe not completely safe, because there are definitely some colorways that are just so beautiful that I want. But through that experience of buying and owning the Platinum Shape of Heart Chai Latte, I now know that I do not like platinum matte pens, and I really, really dislike the modern nib. I'm really sorry if that's all you can find right now, because it is going to be hard to find these old stock nibs. It's more so I've just been so spoiled by the experience of an 18K. Had I never experienced it, never got it, and my pen happened to be the 14K nib with the heart cutout, which is what I was expecting, I wouldn't have known. And unfortunately, now you know with this video and with the knowledge that there was an 18 karat gold platinum pen. Thank you so much for your time and supporting me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.